Third life. You're green and peaceful on your first life. You're yellow and still peaceful on your second life. However, on your third and final life, you are red and hostile to other players. Here are the people who will be playing, so let's jump straight into. Fiery, Pen, and Leafy are the ones who loot the village. Meanwhile, Blocky is going around wrecking as much of it as possible. Leafy goes mining, and a few other people pass by the village. While nobody is looking, Pencil takes the last few villagers and puts them in a hole. And while things continue to happen at the village, a small group is mining for ore. Back on the surface, Ice Cube, Coiny, and Woody are starting conflict with the village people. Meanwhile, behind them, Pin brings a little friend towards Woody. I think we all know where this one is going. Before anyone can process what's happening, Pin runs away following Pencil before Woody can come back. Woody comes back and Icy along with Coiny begin to leave. Blocky also comes back. Blocky tries to prank Pen with a creeper, but since he wasn't gearing up or careful, Pencil and Pin agree to work together for a while, and while they are looking for a place to set up base, the mining squad continue exploring the cave and split up. But that's when Bubble drops from a smaller cave above. However, she survives the fall. However, she still dies. Bubble respawns not too far away, so Pencil goes to find her and forces her to join their team. And after she died, the others come back up to the surface. Needle, Tennis Ball, and Teardrop agree to team. Meanwhile, Leafy leaves in order to find Fiery back at the village, where they agree to stick with Pen and Blocky. That's pretty much all that happens in the first session. 3 deaths and a lot more to go. Let's see what might happen as we move into Golf Ball finally gets out to civilization after spending the entry session 1 in the mines. She wants Tennis Ball to come with her, but he decides to stay with his team. Surprisingly, she just gives them some diamonds and leaves. Meanwhile, in Pencil fashion, she goes to make herself stacked. Meanwhile, Bubble and Pin have to build their base, and yes, this is my very bad build in PowerPoint. On the other side of the map, the village people just start exploring the area as Blocky goes to pull pranks on people. After messing with people all session, Blocky, he decides to dig a little hole in front of Golf Ball's base to annoy her. However, he doesn't know that the mobs that were chasing her already brought her down to low health, so when she falls in the hole, so do all the mobs. Just as Golf Ball would be, she is angry and threatens him with a trap she has, but Blocky calls her bluff, knowing she plays by the rules, but he finds it funny, so he pulls it himself. That's about all that happens this episode with Blocky and Golf Ball death trading. Let's jump into yet another boring episode, being Session 3. Not a lot happens this session, with Blocky's team keeping him within view and just exploring. And Pencil decides to tell Needle's team about the villagers, and surprisingly, they didn't tell anyone. Meanwhile, Coiny, Woody, and Ice Cube have been plotting against Pencil and Pin's team due to not liking them. There were 0 deaths that entire time, so let's just go to Tennis Ball brings Golf Ball to the villagers, and as they are trading, Fiery catches them in the act. However, they manage to negotiate into a secret alliance. While he is catching the traitors, Coiny is trying to convince Needle to go against Pencil's team, and she agrees to work with him, but she is only being a spy. Upon the village people's return, Fiery tells them what happened and they need Blocky for a plan. He isn't happy until he hears the actual plan, then he agrees. But meanwhile, the two teams meet up next to the villagers and start talking about a potential alliance, and everyone seems on board, and that's when half the group and the villagers get blown up by the explosion, and they see Blocky with Pin grabbing Needle and attacking him. Pin forgets Needle takes damage. Oswell. Well, that was an eventful session with Blocky somehow wiping out most of a team and still surviving. Well, 5 deaths await, so let's head into Curious, Coiny and his team go over to Needle and ask about what happened. She tells them how they set up a trap. Pencil gathers everybody at the meeting last session minus Needle and deduces that somebody was involved in rigging the area beforehand. Eyes turn to Tennis Ball and Needle, but Tennis Ball manages to divert attention off of him and goes to look for Needle. And when everybody leaves, Teardrop gives Pencil an invisibility potion as she goes to spy. Tennis Ball goes to the village people worrying that he will get caught soon, and in response Golf Ball gives a crazy idea and Blocky follows through. Pencil spies on Needle, and despite not learning about the spy, she realizes Needle is also against them. Ugh, these two also die during the peaceful part of the session. Pencil is telling her team what she found out when Teardrop comes up to them and gives them a book with the info. The whole server is gathered with Pencil and Teardrop on the stage. They give a speech, and you know what's about to happen.
Red Winter is coming!
Woody jumps at the opportunity and attacks Pin. She tries to run and... That was another death-filled session. 4 reds now. Okay, hopping straight into session 6, and it doesn't get an intro because yes. Right away, it's obvious that everyone is being more cautious cause of the increase in reds, but that doesn't stop one team as Pencil gathers the 2 teams for a meeting. Both Tennis Ball and Needle are a little concerned, but ignore it. However, at the end, Teardrop turns to Tennis Ball and... Pin then turns around and... That's 2 more reds as we enter the endgame. Things are getting intense, so let's go watch. At the start of the session, Bubble sneaks away and tries to form a temporary truce against the village people, considering their strength both in lives and gear. And after her meeting, she tells her team with Pencil hitting her as a warning, not realizing she'd hit her off. Later on, they cautiously meet with Coiny's team, and they get ready to launch an attack against the village. The silence is loud as the whole server gathers for a big battle with the Reds leading the charge, and as the fight breaks out, Pencil and Bubble are dropped into a pit by a hidden fall trap. While the first player falls, the battle keeps going above. Teardrop manages to get rid of Pen, and as lots of the yellows and greens run, Woody starts killing Pin and runs before anyone can react. The battle calms down as Pencil meets up with Needle and Teardrop, who spread out their remaining gear, all while Pencil carries a book with 2 names written inside. On their way back, they spot Leafy fleeing and they decide to attack. To end off the session, Golf Ball asks to meet with Coiny, and when he shows up, Tennis Ball pulls the lever. 2 down and 9 reds. Only 1 session remains. At the start of the finale, everyone is split up into their factions. Pencil, Teardrop, and Needle charge into the village, preparing to fight only to find it abandoned. Because they have all rushed Coiny's base, and with the other team being twice their size, Coiny's team is overwhelmed. Coiny starts trying to flee, being left with no options. Just before the fight reignites, Pencil's team shows up and starts attacking the villagers. Of course, Coiny, already drained, doesn't last long in the fight. Leafy is taken out soon after, giving everyone else the chance to flee. And on the other side, Golf Ball, Fiery, and Pen are fleeing when they spot Ice Cube running back, but seeing as most are yellow, decide not to attack. On the other hand, Blocky and Tennis Ball have managed to take shelter in the bunker while being attacked by Pencil's team. However, Needle spots the other half coming from behind as Pencil pearls into the bunker. After the battle, it's just Golf Ball and Needle, which is when Golf Ball admits to wanting to betray her team, especially with Tennis Ball dead, so her and Needle agree to team up as they are heavily outnumbered. And on their way back, they see Fiery, who agrees to 1v1 Needle while Golf Ball reluctantly steps back. Of course, she changes her mind seeing Needle about to die and Blocky approaching with Pen. Everyone stands there for a second before knowing she can't win a 2v1. Needle convinces the 2 that Ice Cube needs to be killed since she is still on yellow. While the others are waiting for Ice Cube so they can kill her, she is digging underground laying a bomb, but by the time they realize it's too late. Blocky immediately rushes in to kill Ice Cube, and since the explosion damaged them all, it only takes one surprise attack to. If you were expecting some dramatic final battle, then too bad for you, because Needle pulls out her bow and finishes Blocky's last bit of health.